Anna Petrova, a 45-year-old labor inspector, was inspecting the abandoned Rasvet Cinema on that gloomy May morning in 2024. The building was scheduled for demolition the following week, and she needed to ensure there were no hazards. The smell of dust and rot filled the air. She felt a chill inside, despite the approaching summer. The place reeked of years of neglect. It was then that her gaze was drawn to a large hole in the main screen, which seemed to lead somewhere behind it. At first, Anna thought it was just damage from age, but as she got closer, the inspector noticed that the edges were uneven, as if someone had broken through them with force. Curiosity overcame her. She pointed the flashlight of her phone into the darkness behind the screen. What she saw made her heart skip a beat. What she found had been there for 16 years. The object was covered in a thick layer of dust and, in places, mold. And most disturbingly, she saw small handprints on the wall, as if someone had been trying to claw their way out. This discovery would forever change the 16-year-old mystery that had plagued the town of Dolinsk. Anna didn't know that this ordinary morning would become the most unsettling day of her life. What was about to be discovered had remained hidden for many years, waiting for this moment. In a few minutes, the decade-old secret would finally be revealed. Dolinsk would never be the same after this discovery. It was a windy evening on September 1st, 2008, in the small town of Dolinsk. The air was filled with the scent of fading leaves and a light smell of rain. The abandoned Rasvet Cinema stood on the outskirts of town, its broken windows seemingly staring into emptiness. The wooden planks that had been nailed over the doors had long rotted. The place had become a magnet for teenagers seeking adventure, despite all the warnings from their parents. That evening, 12-year-old twins, Misha and Masha Ivanova, decided to explore the old cinema. Misha was more daring, always going first, and Masha, though timid, never left her brother's side. They were inseparable. Their parents, Olga and Sergei Ivanov, always worried about them. The twins had promised to be home before dark. Misha and Masha loved ghost stories and urban legends. The Rasvet Cinema was the center of many of them. It was said that the ghost of an old projectionist roamed there. The twins took a flashlight and an old camera with them to capture their discoveries. It was their usual adventure, which was supposed to end with them returning home and telling stories of their brave deeds. When evening came and the twins didn't return, their parents began to worry. At first, Olga thought they were just delayed at a friend's house. Sergei checked their rooms. No one was there. After a few hours, it became clear that something was wrong. Calls to friends and neighbors began. No one had seen the twins. Their last known destination was the cinema. When Sergei and Olga arrived there, Olga's heart clenched. The main door was ajar. The police were called immediately. Lieutenant Grigory Smirnov, an experienced officer, led the search. Inside the cinema, there was twilight. Remnants of old tickets and torn seats were everywhere. The search team combed every corner of the building. They found small footprints on the dusty floor leading to the main hall, but there the tracks stopped. It seemed the children had simply vanished into thin air. No signs of struggle, no signs of forced entry, nothing, just the oppressive silence of the old cinema. The search continued for several days, attracting volunteers from all over Dolinsk. But Misha and Masha disappeared without a trace. The mystery of their disappearance hung in the air. What happened in that old cinema remained a riddle. Weeks, months, years passed. The mystery of the disappearance of the Ivanova twins remained unsolved. The town of Dolinsk moved on, but a shadow of sadness hung over it. The twins' parents, Olga and Sergei, never stopped hoping, but with each passing year, their hope dwindled. The police exhausted all leads. The case was closed, but not forgotten. Rumors about the Rasvet Cinema multiplied. Some spoke of ghosts, others of kidnappers. Meanwhile, behind the old screen of the cinema, another story was unfolding. A story that no one could imagine. When Misha and Masha were exploring the building, they stumbled upon a secret passage behind the main screen. It wasn't just a hole, but a carefully hidden door disguised as part of the wall. Curiosity got the better of them. They opened it. Behind the door was a narrow, dark corridor leading to a small, hidden room. In the room were some old boxes and strange equipment. As the twins entered, the door slammed shut behind them. They were trapped. This place was part of an old secret bunker built under the cinema during the Cold War. The Rasvet Cinema was actually a cover for a secret observation station. The director of this station was a certain Alexander Volkov, a former KGB officer. Volkov was a paranoid man. He believed he was being watched. Volkov learned of the twins' intrusion. He realized that their discovery could lead to the exposure of his secret hideout. Volkov decided he had to silence them. He captured the twins and held them in the same hidden room. He convinced them that it was dangerous outside, that bad people were hunting them. Volkov was a master of manipulation. He made them think he was protecting them. The twins were scared, but they stuck together. They tried to call for help, but no one heard their cries. Volkov brought them food and water, but limited their contact with the outside world. He told them made-up stories about how the world outside had changed, had become dangerous. He instilled in them a fear of the outside world. Their parents, meanwhile, continued to search, but the search was in vain. Volkov falsified evidence to divert suspicion from himself. He left false trails in the cinema to create the appearance that the twins had simply left and gotten lost somewhere else. He even planted their school notebooks in the nearby forest to send investigators on a false lead. Volkov was connected to former intelligence officers. He used his connections to hide the truth. No one could guess what was really happening. 16 years passed. Alexander Volkov was an old man now. He lived in seclusion, tormented by guilt. He knew his time was coming to an end. He wanted to ease his soul. Volkov decided he had to tell the truth. It was a difficult decision. He feared the consequences, but the burden of secrecy was too great. One evening, Volkov summoned Elena Sokolova, his former assistant. Elena had been loyal to him for many years, but always knew that Volkov had secrets. She was an honest person, though intimidated. Volkov handed her an old, yellow diary. It was his personal diary, contained all the details. Volkov told her that he couldn't die without telling the truth. He told her about the twins. Elena was shocked. She couldn't believe her ears. Volkov asked her to find the Ivanova family. He asked her to tell them everything. He also mentioned the place behind the screen. It was his last act of redemption. He felt that the family deserved to know what had really happened. A few days later, Volkov passed away. Elena was left alone with this terrible secret. She didn't know what to do. At first, she thought about destroying the diary, but then she remembered Volkov's words. She remembered the parents. Elena knew it was the right thing to do. She had to act. Elena decided to contact Anna Petrova, the labor inspector who was overseeing the demolition of the cinema. She knew that Anna had already discovered traces. It was a coincidence, but she knew it was a sign. Elena told Anna about the diary. She told her about Volkov. Elena asked Anna to meet with her. She said that the truth had been there all this time. Anna was stunned. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. All these years, the secret had been hidden so close. She arranged to meet with Elena. Anna felt that she would finally be able to solve this long-standing mystery. She knew that Dolinsk would finally learn the truth. The meeting between Anna and Elena took place the next day. Elena brought Volkov's diary. With trembling hands, she handed it to Anna. Anna began to read. Each word was like a blow. She read about the day the twins disappeared. She read about the trap. She read about how Volkov manipulated the children, his paranoia, his fear of being exposed. The diary described in detail how Volkov had kept Misha and Masha in the hidden room behind the screen. He told them stories about the end of the world so they wouldn't try to escape. He convinced them that the outside world had become too dangerous. He created a small artificial reality for them. He made them believe that he was their only protector. The twins, being children, believed him. They lived in constant fear of the outside world. Anna learned that the twins were alive. They were still in the cinema. They were behind the screen. Elena confirmed this. She said that Volkov had died only a week ago. She said she didn't know what to do. She didn't want to take the risk, but Volkov's guilt had passed on to her. She couldn't live with this secret. Anna immediately contacted the police. Lieutenant Smirnov, who had led the initial investigation, was already retired, but his successor, Captain Dmitry Orlov, was ready to take on the case. Orlov was young, he was determined. Anna handed him the diary. She told him about Elena. She told him about the hidden room. A team of police officers equipped with special equipment went to the Rasvet cinema. They found the very door that was mentioned in the diary. It was hidden so skillfully that no one would ever have been able to find it without precise instructions. When the door was opened, two people emerged from the darkness. It was Misha and Masha Ivanova. They were now 28 years old. They were pale and thin. Their eyes were full of fear. They looked as if they had just come from another world. They were disoriented. Their clothes were old and tattered. Their hair was long and tangled. They still believed in Volkov's stories. They spoke of the external threat. The police officers were shocked. It wasn't just a disappearance. It was a whole life stolen because of one man's paranoia. Paramedics immediately provided them with assistance. The twins were physically exhausted, but their mental state was even more alarming. They were afraid of the light, they were afraid of people. They kept repeating that Volkov was protecting them. It was a heartbreaking sight. The whole of Dolinsk was in shock. It wasn't just a sensation, it was a tragedy. News of the discovery of the twins spread through Dolinsk instantly. The town was shaken to its core. The parents, Olga and Sergei Ivanova, were called to the scene. When they saw their children, 28-year-old adults, emotions overwhelmed them. Olga fell into Misha's arms, sobbing with relief and pain. Sergei hugged Masha tightly. 16 years of suffering had ended, but a new path had begun. The twins were immediately taken to the hospital for medical examinations and psychological assistance. Doctors and psychologists worked with them to help them adapt to the outside world. They slowly learned to trust. They learned to understand that Volkov had lied to them. It was a long and painful process, but their parents were there for them. They were ready to do anything to help their children. The police began an investigation into Alexander Volkov, but he was dead. Nevertheless, his diary and the testimony of Elena Sokolova became key evidence. Elena Sokolova, after telling the truth, received protection. She cooperated with the authorities. She helped to uncover all aspects of Volkov's conspiracy. It was established that Volkov was not the only one who knew about the bunker, but only he made the decisions. His accomplices, former KGB officers, were identified. They all denied it, but the evidence was irrefutable. Some of them were arrested, others were too old or had died. But the truth came out. The public demanded answers. The Dolinsk town authorities and police faced a wave of criticism for failing to find the twins earlier, but Captain Orlov made a statement. He explained that the hidden room had been discovered only through a combination of circumstances and Elena's candor. He noted that it was a unique case. The Rasvet cinema was finally demolished, but it was decided to build a memorial on its site. A memorial in honor of Misha and Masha Ivanova. A memorial in memory of how easily freedom and truth can be lost. It became a symbol of hope, a symbol of resilience. The twins' lives slowly began to improve. They learned to use technology, they learned to live in the modern world. Misha became interested in programming, Masha began to draw. They were still inseparable, but now they were free, and they were surrounded by the love of their family. The consequences of this case changed Dolinsk forever. The town became more vigilant, it became more united, it learned to value the truth. Years have passed since Misha and Masha Ivanova were found. They have learned to live again, overcoming the traumas of the past. Their story has become a powerful testament to human resilience. They still sometimes have nightmares about their captivity, but now they know they are safe. They know they are surrounded by love. The story of Dolinsk has become an example of how long-forgotten secrets can surface. It showed that institutional corruption and paranoia can have catastrophic consequences. It also underscored the importance of never losing hope and never stopping searching for the truth. Misha and Masha are now actively involved in working for charities that help people who have experienced trauma. They share their story, they inspire others. Their lives, once stolen, are now filled with meaning and purpose. Their story reminds us that evil can be hidden, but the truth will always find its way out, and love and family can overcome even the darkest trials.